They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally getting its act together, poised to ride the Caitlin Clark rocket ship to sports relevance and real revenue, they managed to stumble over their own feet. And by that, I mean Caitlin Clark herself, the league's one-woman ratings powerhouse, has just landed on the injury list.
The Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Now basketball fans are in full meltdown mode. Talk shows are spiraling, and Stephen A. Smith, he's practically levitating with outrage. His fury is aimed at the WNBA bullies, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, and especially Angel Reese, who still believes fans are tuning in for her too. If you're siding with Stephen A., drop baby goat over baby giraffe in the comments below. Let's go.
Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now.
Caitlin Clark, the very woman who transformed women's basketball from something only your hyper-competitive cousin watched into must-see TV, is now sidelined with a quad strain. 2 weeks minimum. Too long. Clarkless weeks where the WNBA will try to play it cool while the actual product crumbles faster than an Angel Reese layup. Picture it. The league's brightest star stuck in street clothes, while TV ratings drop like a rock in a kiddie pool.
Now put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, writes Stephen A. Smith, can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlin Clark, is out?
And the first person to absolutely lose it? Of course, it was Stephen A. Smith. ESPN's resident hype machine didn't just weigh in. He went full DEFCON 1. While others around the league offered polite shrugs and carefully crafted comments, Stephen A. showed up like a human Molotov cocktail, torching every bad take and poor decision that led to this mess. And let's be real, someone had to. Everyone else is out here whispering sweet nothings, pretending Caitlin Clark isn't the reason their paychecks cleared.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
This man didn't just speak up, he held court like someone who'd been waiting months to roast the league's incompetence. While WNBA execs were off playing pretend, acting like Caitlin Clark isn't the one keeping the lights on, Stephen A. was out here dropping receipts like thunderbolts. He spelled it out with such clarity, it felt like math class lit up with fireworks. Oh, you think the league can thrive without Caitlin Clark? He basically asked. Cool story, bro. Check the numbers and try not to cry.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
Let's break down those numbers, shall we? Caitlin Clark's games this season are averaging 1.178 million viewers. When she's not on the court, just 394,000. That's not a dip, that's a nosedive off a cliff. A threefold crater in viewership. And yet, you've still got players like Angel Reese questioning why Clark gets more camera time. Maybe it's because Caitlin doesn't treat the ball like a bowling pin and actually gives people a reason to tune in.
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
Stephen A. didn't just wake up angry. This was months in the making, watching the WNBA fumble every golden opportunity handed to them. He's seen Cheryl Swoops throwing more shade than a beach umbrella, acting like Clark isn't the one hauling the entire league into the spotlight. And of course, Angel Reese couldn't resist turning every moment into her own personal audition for America's next jealous teammate.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings. Because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
Then there's Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, whose entire strategy around Caitlin Clark could be summed up as, thanks for the ratings, I guess. It's like finding a genie in a bottle and wishing for a slightly bigger bottle. Now, with Clark sidelined, Stephen A. is practically shouting, "I told you so," from the rooftops, and honestly, he's earned the right to.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
He even dropped some classic wisdom. If this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence proves it, then everyone needs to stand down and ride the wave. Translation? Stop resisting Caitlin is the show. Either get on board or get left behind, sitting in half-empty arenas while fans look around wondering where all the buzz went.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
Let's rewind, because the build-up to this mess has been a masterclass in league mismanagement. Caitlin Clark's first game this season against the Sky pulled in a record-breaking 2.7 million viewers, the most-watched WNBA game on ESPN ever. A debut so massive, even the NBA took notice. That wasn't a fluke. It was the arrival of a generational star, one who brought receipts, ratings, and more jersey sales than half the league combined. So, what did the WNBA do? Did they roll out the red carpet? Launch a full-blown marketing blitz? No. We got press releases so bland they could have been written by Angel Reese herself. It was like the league was scared to admit that one player was doing more for the brand than an entire decade of collective effort.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season. Because this is Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records this year, that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
Stephen A. saw it all coming, Caitlin's star rising fast, the league downplaying her impact, and the vets shooting her side eyes like she just grabbed the last slice of pizza. And now, the WNBA is in panic mode, scrambling to fill the massive void left by the only player who can pull in 1 million extra viewers just by tying her shoes. That's the real issue. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another top draft pick. She was the WNBA's golden ticket. But instead of putting it on display, they tried to downplay it. Now that ticket's temporarily off the board, and the league is finally realizing what she's really worth. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is sitting back like, I've been telling y'all you can't build a castle and act surprised when the queen moves in.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Bottom line, the WNBA had the golden goose and treated her like just another bird. Stephen A. isn't just mad, he's delivering the reality check the league desperately needs. Clark is the draw, the face, the reason sponsors are picking up the phone. If she's not protected, appreciated, and elevated, the league won't just lose a player, it'll lose its moment. Stephen A. Smith has been the lone voice of reason in a room full of noise when it comes to Caitlin Clark. While others tiptoe around egos and cling to outdated narratives, he's been calling it exactly how it is from day one. From the moment Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, bringing a tidal wave of attention, ticket sales, and record-breaking viewership, Stephen A. has been her loudest and clearest supporter.
Why?
Because unlike the jealous whispers from some ex-players who treat Clark's success like a personal insult, Stephen A. recognizes real value when he sees it. There's real resentment out there, he said, and wow, has that ever become clear?
We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Now the prophecy is playing out in real time. Clark isn't missing some throwaway Tuesday night game against a forgettable team. She's sidelined during marquee matchups, the kind of high-profile games ESPN drools over. Her much-hyped rematch with Angel Reese?
Gone.
Multiple nationally televised primetime broadcasts? Cancelled. The financial impact is instant and harsh. This isn't just Indiana losing a star player, it's the entire WNBA losing its gravitational center. Clark isn't just scoring points. She's the reason fans pack arenas, tune in at home, and drop cash on those overpriced jerseys. Take her out of the picture, and suddenly the Indiana Fever looks like every other team, just another franchise scrambling to stay in the spotlight.
Look, I think Stephen A. is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know because the majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlin Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlin Clark. They don't really care about the entire team.
But what's really got Stephen A. fired up, what has him absolutely cooking, is that all of this was completely avoidable. Yes, injuries happen in sports, no one's denying that. But when a league allows its most valuable player to get slammed, hacked, elbowed, and borderline assaulted night after night with zero consequences, That's not bad luck, that's negligence. The hits Caitlin Clark has taken this season wouldn't look out of place in an NFL highlight reel. And yet, the WNBA's response? A shrug. Part of the game, they say. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is probably at home breaking remotes, yelling, "Protect her." And who can blame him? He's watching the one player keeping the league above water get treated like a rookie off the bench, instead of the generational star she clearly is. It's not just frustrating, it's malpractice.
Everybody was moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
the tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
And here's the thing, the numbers back every bit of it up. Even in a recent loss to the Liberty, Caitlin Clark still pulled in 2.22 million viewers on CBS, the second highest WNBA rating ever on the network. That kind of regular season draw? Practically unheard of. But without her, those numbers are about to nosedive. Now imagine the marketing execs trying to sell ad space. Well, we had 2 million viewers, but our star's out. Sponsors are watching. Networks are watching. Everyone sees the writing on the wall, and so does Stephen A., who's already stacked the receipts for the inevitable ratings crash. And you know he's going to remind the WNBA loudly and often every step of the way.
2.2 million average viewers tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season or playoff game.
But what makes this hurt even more is that it didn't have to be this way. If the league had simply acknowledged what was obvious from day one, that Clark is the engine driving the entire operation, things could have been different. Instead, they downplayed her rise, treated her success like a fluke, or worse, something embarrassing. Meanwhile, Clark was packing arenas, boosting ratings, and changing how everyone sees women's basketball practically overnight. And now that she's sidelined, all the people who doubted her impact are about to learn, the hard way, just how wrong they were.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
Clark wasn't just good for the league, she was revolutionizing it. People who never gave the WNBA a second look were suddenly tuning in. Entire families planned their summer vacations around Fever games. But with her sidelined, those same fans are already drifting away. Stephen A. gets it. He sees what's really at stake. This isn't just about a twisted ankle or a pulled muscle. It's about whether the league is smart enough to recognize and nurture a once-in-a-generation star before it's too late. Stephen A. knows what the WNBA leadership won't admit. Clark is the linchpin between the league's struggling past and its potentially explosive future. Without her, they're back to begging networks for airtime and hoping fans show up to games. Clark isn't just a player, she's a walking marketing campaign, a highlight reel, a franchise in sneakers. And now she's out, meaning the bridge she built between women's basketball and the mainstream is temporarily closed for repairs. This isn't just a setback, it's a full-blown crisis.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
And let's be real, all of this could have been prevented. With the way she's been targeted cheap shots, flagrant fouls, borderline assaults, you'd think the league would step up to protect its biggest asset. But no, they let her take hit after hit while hiding behind vague statements and toothless penalties. Now Stephen A. is here, bullhorn in hand, shouting, "I told you so." Meanwhile, the league scrambles to do damage control. Clark's fan base is furious. Many are already pledging to boycott games until she's back. Social media is flooded with posts from fans saying they won't watch another second of WNBA basketball without Clark on the court. And honestly, who can blame them? If you started watching because of Caitlin Clark, why stick around when she's not there? Watching a WNBA game without Clark is like ordering pizza and getting handed a salad. The excitement's gone. The flavor's gone. And what made it special just isn't there anymore.
You literally cannot make this up. When she's not playing, ticket prices, merchandise sales plummet. Viewership declines when she is not suited up in uniform. The numbers do not lie, guys. Caitlin Clark is the biggest box office attraction in the WNBA, period. Facts over feeling.
So now Stephen A. Smith, the only one with the guts to say what everyone else is thinking. He's waiting for the next batch of ratings to come in. And when they tank, because of course they will, he'll be ready with the numbers, the commentary, and the sass to remind the league this mess is on them. When you ignore your biggest star, let her take hits like a crash test dummy, and pretend everything's fine, the fallout is on you. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle. Caitlin Clark was that lightning. Now that she's sidelined, the storm is rolling in. The next few weeks won't just prove Stephen A. right. They'll define what kind of league the WNBA wants to be, one that protects and uplifts its stars, or one that watches them walk away. There's still time to save the game. If you agree with Stephen A., comment baby goat over baby giraffe down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.